Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the iceHQ host rink here in a reservoir, Melbourne, Australia, on Wurundjeri Woiwurrung traditional land for the CCM National Women's Tournament 2023. It's Saturday night on Hockey Night here in a reservoir, and I'm Carl Brewer, and joining me once again for this last game of the evening is Britt Jackson, who has had a lot of fun this evening being part of the commentary team, and we have a matchup tonight between the potential grand finalists tomorrow, although not to necessarily discount what else may happen. It's the Central Coast Stingrays, who thus far through the program have been undefeated. They won 7-2 against the Furies, 3-1 against the Galahs, 5-0 against Adelaide, and 4-1 against WA, so a commanding performance for them. They are up against the Melbourne Reds, who won all but one of their games. They beat the Galahs 4-1. They lost to Adelaide 2-1, and they beat West Australia 2-0. And they beat the Furies 7-1. You could argue that this round was almost a dead rubber. At the end of this, the Central Coast Stingrays will almost definitely finish top of the ladder, and Melbourne will almost definitely finish second. The only way that can change is if Melbourne beats the Central Coast Stingrays by 6 goals or more, which will then alter the goal differential and move the Reds to the top of the ladder. That's a big margin. It's not impossible, but it's pretty unlikely. Britt, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to watch this game. There's two really great teams putting in some great hockey tonight. I don't know, it's tough to say. The Stingrays have been really consistent with their goal scoring and opportunities, and just the same, the Reds have made a really good comeback today. They
certainly have. I've been very impressed. Sam Winder for the Stingrays with 6 goals, moving up in defence and absolutely getting integrated into the offensive play. And Vicky Prosic, who, as we know, is very good at scoring from face-off. She's on the wing. They get the puck to her, and in the blink of an eye, an unprepared goalie gets a goal scored against them. I think she's done that about 3 times. So she's a great offensive weapon in that regard. Narelle Owen with 2, and Tanya Crawley with 2 as well for the Stingrays. Now, they are without Sophie Abertangelo, who has unfortunately broken her arm this morning in a fall where she collided with the boards. There was no one involved in it. She just basically blew an edge. And the boards here are very unforgiving, unfortunately. The Melbourne Reds have spread their goals around as well. Jess Meggs with 1, Justine Krulak with 3, Bri Johnson with 2 goals, Bron Cashin with 3, and Simone Leach with a commanding performance. She had a quiet program up until this afternoon's game where she scored 5 in 1 goal against the Melbourne Furies. The Furies did give her a lot of room in the close slot position, and that's where she scores so many goals. But the Stingrays will have seen that, and they will know that you cannot give Simone Leach any room in front of the net when the puck's anywhere near her, because she will score from that position over and over and over again. It's not that difficult to defend against as long as you have the physical authority to do so, and I think we'll find that the Central Coast Stingrays will be more than capable of doing that, as we have a mild interaction with some naughty referees. But that's all good. They've got a sense of humour. Well, that one does anyway. That's Shana Godfrey, one of the 2 referees for this game. Shana, a bit of a living legend of the game of ice hockey here in Australia. And she's also the manager of the CCM Pro Shop. CCM, the main sponsor of this tournament. We are about to get underway. Drop of the puck for the last game of the night.
And the Reds have possession of the drop of the puck. Tipping it into the neutral zone, onto the stick of Johnson. Johnson taking it up over the boards. And it's just a bit of good contest there by the Stingrays. Stingrays managing, trying to tip it out, but it's taken in by the glove of the Reds. Stingrays in possession. We've got Winder hitting it around the back of the net.
Prosek again with that very rapid movement from the initial face-off, and you can just see she's got that explosive speed when she wants to use it. She gets a chance now to get a shot across the front of the net. Taylor Lester making the save and deflecting it wide. Prosek is absolutely the shock trooper of this team. She's got magnificent speed and acceleration. She keeps the shifts nice and short, but she can score so many goals, and takes a defensive team absolutely by surprise.
For sure, and Reds in possession now with Cashin deep in their zone. And picked up by Johnson from a loose pass. Johnson going in with a shot and just wide of the net. Johnson up at the boards. Bit of contest there from the Stingrays. Shot by Sobel, and just dumps it behind the back of the net. Picked up by Johnson for the Reds. And a little bit of a tie-up, 16 on 16. power with a shot, and it's just tucked between the feet of Winder, who taps it out of the zone.
Winder very wisely gets that puck out of the zone very quickly and efficiently. One thing that the Stingrays have done particularly well is played very good, smart, structured hockey. They haven't made many mistakes. They haven't done a lot of risky cross-ice passes, and they've usually had enough time and enough pressure on their defence to deal with things. But they're playing against a fast team tonight in the Reds, and they will need to be absolutely on the game. They can't afford to let the Reds get behind them in defence, because although they've been able to catch almost everyone else, they won't catch the Reds if they get away.
Bit of a tie-up at the boards, Leicester, and it's still in possession of the Reds, and then just taken out by the Stingrays. Leicester in possession in the neutral zone for the Reds. Tips it back in, but it's picked up by the Stingrays. And that was by Marion. Got Krulak following the puck up the ice alongside Bartlett for the Stingrays.
Bartlett dumps around the back. And, good defensive pressure there by the Stingrays, but the Reds managing to keep the puck in the zone briefly, but not anymore. And out it goes.
And picked up by Nelson. Nelson to Newell. Nelson again for the Reds. Just gliding it in, testing the waters of the offensive zone. Newell back to Nelson. Nelson for a little shot in front of the net.
Plenty of green jerseys there to protect it though.
And currently Crusader has it at the corners.
Crusader being harassed by a lot of green. And a good buck there, but good battle on the boards for the puck. One too many green players in there though, which is freed up. And you can just see Marie Newell in the high slot position. If they do get the puck to her, they're in trouble. But they clear it out, the green Stingrays. We're going to see, I think, the game of the program so far tonight. A lot of skill and a lot of speed.
Reds with the puck in their defensive zone, back behind the net to Nelson. Nelson looking for a pass and just chips it deep.
Looks for the stretch across to Keir Vanderkleet, but not able to pick it up. Gets around the back of the net though, looking for a wraparound. There's a couple of passing options, but she can't make the connection.
Vandervliet with the puck. Passes it right to the stick of West Lynette.
Nice shot. That's the first shot of the game on to Lunt, who just pads it into the corner.
And onto the stick of Vandervliet, still behind the net. Trying to look for a passing opportunity just to get away from this defence.
Another good shot there, and then I think that was Gallagher who activated and came in to get that one on the net. But again, Lunt made it safe. And the puck kept in the zone. Good zone time at the moment for the Reds.
Yeah,
not able to convert into a goal, but they certainly give themselves some good chances.
Yeah. And Cashin right on the puck, contesting Marion for it. Good follow-up, and it just gets onto...
There's Prosek with that burst of speed that she has, just cut straight across the ice and steals the puck from everyone.
Prosek back with possession of the puck, just cruising through the neutral and then loses it.
Beats two, but can't get the third. This is going to be a game, I think, Britt, where it's going to come down to minor defensive errors getting exploited. Whoever makes the most defensive errors is going to be the one that gives the game away. So it's anyone's to win or lose this one by what we're seeing so far through the first 5 minutes of it. It's going to be a pretty close contest. Both teams very evenly matched.
Yep,
And that's what we love to see. It's going to be a ripper. But of course the challenge is, I know we've made a point of it over and over and again, you're probably sick of hearing it, is the amount of hockey that these teams have played. This is now their 5th game in about 30 hours of elapsed time, which is just enormous. And combined to that, the travelling time for the Central Coast team who've had to come all the way down from Erina in central New South Wales. And it's tricky to get to from. Prosek almost picking the puck up out of the zone. It hit something and managed to clear the zone out, and Winder finds some space, but she's isolated. She's got no one with her.
Running it just right alongside the boards, up and around to the net.
Looking for a passing option.
No
Doesn't
one's
find
really
one.
Finding the middle section there.
Stingrays were off getting a change at the time. It's a good play there by Winder just to force the Reds back and make them defend while the change was happening.
And an attempt of a shot there by Bartlett, just couldn't quite find the footing in the puck lining. And cruising up through the neutral zone, we've got Johnson on a breakaway, and she will go for the shot and score.
Bri Johnson over the shoulder of Lunt, and the Melbourne Reds draw the first one. And we probably won't get to see all of that, but just a little bit of a lapse defensively there by the Stingrays. Let the Reds get behind them. And it's going to be breakaways that are going to make the difference, I suspect, in this game. But I don't think it's going to be flooding net front all that much because both teams are pretty strong in that area. But if they give the defence pinches in, you're going to have problems. And that's an offside on the Central Coast with Tanya Crawley just being caught a couple of metres on the wrong side of the blue line. So we will have a face-off. A change in refereeing staff again now. We have Craig Armstrong-Frey and Shana Godfrey refereeing this game.
Stingrays with possession of the puck in their offensive zone. And we go for a shot. And a little bit of a sliding shot there, but I believe it was covered up by goalie Lester.
Lester managed to make the save. She was I think she would have been pretty disappointed with the statistics from the previous game where they did win 2-1 against, they did win 7-1 against the Furies, but it was only 2 shots on her and one of them was a goal, and that's bad for her stats. So she'd be pretty unhappy with that, but always happy with the win.
Still in the Reds.
I'm sure she'd tell us that they actually had 150 shots on her, but that's just goalies making stuff up.
I'm sure it feels like quadruple as a goalie. And the Reds with possession of the puck in their own zone. They're trying to find a way how to clear it, but the Stingrays are pretty.
Crawley doing a good job of controlling that puck, but gets it out eventually, unfortunately, for the Stingrays to Leach, but Leach ridden into the side, but there's the puck out nicely.
And into the stick of Gallagher.
This could actually be quite an interesting game of matchups. There's a number of the younger, faster players for the Reds, who, if they can pick the players they're playing against, can find gaps. But so too with the Stingrays.
Gallagher dumping it down the back of
flings it wide. We're looking for players like Bri Johnson and Justine Krulak to do some damage for the Reds with their speed. And then looking for Simone Leach to get herself into that slot and just finish it off for them.
And the Reds not able to keep it in the zone.
We have a hand up for an icing, and it's iced. And so those two green players trying to sneak over the bench may find themselves getting called back. And Shana Godfrey saw it and says, no, sorry, you cannot get a change. That was an icing. Get back on, please. You know that rule by now, but you also know you're always going to try it on because the referee might not notice. Maybe. Although they've been pretty good on it tonight. They've been pretty sharp. And, every player will give it a go if they can. It's like a goalie will always try and pretend that it didn't go in. So, no, that was the other puck. I keep one in my back pocket.
Reds with possession. Just trying to dump it in, the D of the Reds dumping it in back of the net, behind the net. And the Stingrays are right on it with West Lene trying to do a shot. It gets blocked. Cashing with the puck, hitting it down the boards and over.
Just putting it into Gretzky's office there for Sobol to get the shot out from the point. Takes the time, winds, but it deflects off Parker. And it ends up in the slot, it ends up in the net. And the Reds are up 2-0 in the early stages of this game. Maybe that 6-goal margin is under threat. The Reds have improved a lot through the tournament. They started off a bit shaky on Friday night, but they've got themselves sorted out. And it's taken them a few games to really find their rhythm and also to start playing a little bit more sensible. They do have Lucy Parrington as their coach, and I think also Scott Gallagher is looking after them as well. And it has made a big difference to them playing more sensible hockey and being a bit more composed.
That was number 48, Dexness, to score that goal for the Reds there, making it a 2-0 game. And off with the puck, we've got Winder.
Winder finds some space, moves around, tries a backhand shot across. We know that she's going to need to feature in this a lot to get them back in the game. They're down 2. They don't have to win by much. And they don't want to lose by a lot. They'd like to win, obviously, maintain some momentum. But if they want to keep the position on the top of the ladder, they need to have a margin of no more than 6 goals to lose by. Now, that's a pretty big margin.
Yeah, they've got a bit of room there.
And it is a team that I don't think that's likely to happen. But again, you know, it's been a lot of hockey. Everyone's pretty tired. They are without
Abatangelo.
Abatangelo, unfortunately. So that will add up. And they've got a bench of 7. So they've got 2 and a bit lines, which sounds like an all right sort of a lineup for a beer league team. But this isn't beer league. This is much higher competition, and it's relentless. This is beer league on pretty decent dose of steroids.
Reds throwing it behind the net in their own zone. Trying to clear it here, but Stingrays are pretty persistent on keeping it in.
Yeah, good forecheck by them.
And the Reds clear it out of the zone by Newell. Newell following it up, and just a shin block by Winder.
So Winder read that well. She could see there was 2 players coming in, and she knew she had to cut off the option. Did it quite nicely.
Prosic with a good block there.
Here comes
And
Winder
Winder
again. She's got a
carrying
bit
it
of room. But closed off Zoe Cruzada. Did a great job of shutting the door, giving her nowhere to go at all. Gallagher now looking to play it out of the zone for the Reds. But it doesn't clear it neatly. This time it does a good clearance. But it goes as far as Winder, who has some room. It's a bit of a look. Looking for Bartlett. But picked off by Cruzada, who finds Newell, who has no one in front of her. Tries the 5-hole, but Lunt shuts the door.
Stingrays with possession. We've got Owen coming up through the neutral zone. Tries to get it through, but a couple of Reds tie it up. And then we've got Crawley breaking out with it. Crawley for the Stingrays, following up the boards. A little bit of assistance by Dwyer, also a little bit of interference on her play.
Some good back checking by Narelle Owen there for the Stingrays, doing a good job of shutting down that breakaway or that rapid transitional attack.
Owen with the puck for the Stingrays into the neutral zone, and Sobel trying to send it back, but it's picked up again by Owen in the neutral. And
no one wants the puck there.
A little bit of a misjudgment there on puck location by the Reds.
That was Christine Edwards, the ultimate captain for the Stingrays, shutting that one down, just getting in the way. Good job of positioning.
And Crawley sending it up. Oh, and just kept in by Johnson for the Reds.
Brian Johnson read that one well.
Johnson on the puck, cruising around looking for a pass. No one's really able to help find it there. Sobel blocked. Owen with the puck coming up and manages to clear the zone.
So we'll be looking to see a number of the Stingrays racing over to try and get a change. And they do exactly that.
We had Lester there in splits, just trying to clear that puck away. Ooh, a little bit of a pile up.
That was Bartlett winning gravity. Two Reds took a tumble. The referee's letting that one go. There was nothing wrong with it. It was just a collision in contest for the puck. It's perfectly legal, and it's good to see that that level of appropriate contact is being allowed to happen in this particular game. Earlier on, it was being perhaps a little bit overly rigorously policed. But you are allowed to contest the puck, and collisions do happen. And just because someone falls over doesn't necessarily mean that there's an interference or a checking crime that's been committed. And I think in that instance, Bartlett was not in the wrong at all, and it was just a collision. So with 30 seconds to go in the break, at the end of the first period, we have the Melbourne Reds up to 5 shots apiece on the net, which does show how even it's been. But it was that breakaway goal from the Reds that did the damage. And it was Brian Johnson with the first one, and then Melody Dexness, I will never get that one right, assisted by Cashin and Sobol, who got the second one for the Melbourne Reds. Shots on 4-5 according to our system, and 5-5 according to the scoreboard. At some point that will probably be reconciled. But for now, we will take the scoreboard as being right and our system as being wrong, because the scoreboard is a higher priority in the list for the scorers. They keep that up to date, and our system just tracks them. So 2-0 the lead to the Melbourne Reds at the moment. They would like to win this by at least 6 to give them first place at the end of the ladder. It didn't look like that was going to happen early on. They had a pretty shaky win against the Galahs, and then they did lose to Adelaide in the second game of the night on a Friday night. But it's not the same Reds that it was then. They have certainly spruced up a little bit. Where they have been lacking is in attacking prowess, but Simone Leach fixed that in their last game, that 5-goal feast that she had against the Furies, who did give her way too much space in front of the net. We'll wait to see what happens in the second. Can the Stingrays strike back? Where is Vicky Prosek? She's not on the ice for this starting face-off, keeping her as a shock trooper for later.
Face-off won by Krulak for the Reds. Just it over to Nelson. Picked up by Green. Sorry, that was Leach.
And Winder with a poke check comes up through the middle. She's got 2 to beat in front of her. Gets a shot through traffic.
Just a little bit wide.
Winder's pretty awesome, I've got to say. He's played some fantastic hockey. Leach makes the pass across, looking for the stretch to Meggs. Meggs challenged high and picked off by...
And that's Meggs who's got that.
By Marianne.
Krulak with the puck for the Reds, cruising in.
Tries to find a way through, but is stopped by Sam Winder with a big reach.
She's denying a lot here from the Reds.
Very effective in defence, Winder, and as you can see, she integrates into the attack very well. With 6 goals as a defensive player, she's the #1 scorer for the Stingrays.
And Krulak picks up the loose puck.
Kira Dwyer there, just struggling a little bit to get control of that puck.
Looking
Sorry,
for a
I
pass.
tell a lie. That wasn't Dwyer, that was Karen Jones, who just got a little bit handcuffed.
And we're having a line change for each.
Here comes Winder again, finding space around the outside, cuts through the middle of the neutral zone, but the Stingrays are going to be offside, and that was...
That was mid-change, actually.
That was Dutton, who got herself just caught slightly on the wrong side of the green line as Winder was cutting across. Wasn't much she could do about it. There was a lot of traffic in front of her, and if she had straightened up and gone along the line, she would have run into someone. It's always just a little bit of a risk. Prosek now with the puck, gets off from that face-off. She's the shock trooper for the Central Coast. Wraps around the back, tries to find some room to get the shot away. It's loose in the front of the net. Backhander, goes past everyone and everything. There's a stick on the ice. Someone's got to want it.
Prosek back with the puck, sends it over to Gillies.
Frost to let go of it. Prosek now with the puck again behind the net. Tries to put it in front of the slot. And this is where it gets dangerous for Central Coast. They do have players back. Maureen Newell picks it up, but she's got Green in front of her. Tries the shot from a distance, but bounce off Lunt.
Good save by Lunt.
Another save by Lunt. Lunt this time will freeze the puck and slow it down. Nice play there. But you can see whenever Prosek is on the ice, she just has that ability just to create space, and with just movement and explosive power, she's just so powerful. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Seeing a powerful athlete do amazing things like that, and watching Vicky Prosek play is an absolute pleasure.
Reds have possession of... Stingrays have possession of the face-off, managed to clear the zone, and Crawley's following that up, and just taken off by Johnson.
Johnson's going to run out of room around the boards. It's a lot of time there for the green jerseys to sort that out. Cashin battles through the edge.
Sent out into the middle by Johnson and followed up by Sobel.
A nice poke by Sobel, manages to just push the puck out of the zone and does it twice.
Owen with the puck, running it through into the zone. Looking for a pass, there's not many options there.
She's looking up to her point to see if she's got that, but it took Marion just a little while to get there.
Owen, poked by Johnson. And Reds with possession, clearing the zone. But it's kept in by Marion.
Not for long, out it comes. And that time it was cleared out by West Linnet. Dumped in deep, Sobol clears it out. A little bit of backwards and forwards. Table tennis, if you would like. Bron Cashin washes off the icing by winning the race.
Picked up by Johnson. Taken down to the boards and over behind the net. And going to be picked up by Sobel. Looking for a pass here.
Sobel takes the shot from a distance, gets through some traffic. Picked up by Crawley, who has 3 goals so far this evening. Plays the puck up, gets it as far as, I think that was Karen Jones, but not able to clear the zone now. Still in for the Reds, but now it comes out.
And that's Owen that tipped it out there.
Sobel sorts it out and runs into a bit of traffic there. The Reds need to be careful they don't get done for too many players on the ice. It's a bit of a traffic jam at the gate. That's where you jump over the boards to get on and off.
Johnson with the puck coming up, looking to read the play here. Coming straight up the ice. And she's lost it, but she's picked up by Leach.
She did run into traffic. Neither team being able to get any runs that they've been used to in all the games they've had so far. This has certainly been the most high-pressure game that we've seen throughout the tournament. At the end of the game, it is the last game of the regular program, and we're seeing what I think you'd have to agree would be the best of them.
Yeah, definitely. Two great teams here.
Been good speed, and there's
and a goal we have for the Stingrays by Winder.
That's Winder who does the damage, and that brings the Stingrays up to 1. And a great shot there by Winder. We know how dangerous she is. Gets that little bit of space, and bang, in it goes. And Leicester could just watch that one sail over her shoulder. I'm not sure we'll see that on the replay. We might have just seen it and missed it. 1 goal to the Stingrays, 2 to the Reds. 7 shots apiece from as the viewpoint of the scorer. And that puts Taylor's shutout out of the picture. Prosak from the face-off again, tries to win it through. It's that explosive speed again. Wow. It's just beautiful. Oof. There's Prosak. She races into the corner, tries to put it across into the slot. She had numbers there. She had a player in the slot waiting for it in Giles.
Krulak sends it up. A little bit of a misplay by Meggs. And picked up by Leach. Reds are running into the zone. This is a dangerous player to leave on a breakaway. It
is, but look who's defending on her. It was Winder. I'm pretty confident that Winder would put himself in the right position and nullify that.
And she did. And Winder's got possession of the puck, running through, tips it into the neutral zone.
Finds Prosak on the burst. Prosak with room. Gallagher trying to cut her off. Prosak sprays it wide.
And good defense there by Gallagher.
And Gallagher took the option away, but it goes through Taylor's legs. She may have funneled that in or may have just caught it in her ankles. Where is that puck? Oh, Taylor Lester. It wasn't going in. Went across the front, but it got tangled up in her pads.
Yeah,
just behind her was, I think that was Gallagher's stick behind her, just as a little bit of a guarantee as well. So Leicester a little bit fortunate there, but a great play, Vicky Prosak. We just see that power and speed from her when she gets a bit of time. And she creates that time herself just with that explosive acceleration that she has.
Johnson running up the ice with the puck. Coming in, going for a shot, and just off the crossbar, and it's smothered up by
what you'll see on the replay here is Johnson doing a great job of puck protection. She puts the puck on one side of her in the stick and just keeps the opposition. We're not going to see the replay on that, unfortunately. Oh, yes, we are. No, we aren't. I don't know what's going to happen with the replay. But anyway, Johnson did a great job of it's called puck protection. You have the puck on one side of you and your opposition on the other side. You just put your body in the way. And even in full checking hockey, it works extraordinarily well, and you'll see many goals scored at elite level with exactly that style of play.
Stingrays with possession of the puck. And good contest by the Reds here. They just managed to steal it and tip it out of the zone. Oh, sorry, out of their own zone.
Johnson just fluffs on that, but cleans up the mistake. She dropped the puck, but then regained it.
Johnson
she has another go skating around, but she runs into traffic there with lots of green jerseys back to protect the slot. So she did a lap, but it didn't actually help all that much. And this will possibly be an icing. The referee doesn't have a hand up. Icing is waved.
And the Reds have possession. We've got Johnson running it up the boards.
So Johnson spent a lot of energy on this shift. I think she's been back and forth twice.
Yeah, she's going to be looking for a change.
Vandercleet
rush.
Just can't quite get a handle on it.
Crawley at the boards.
Crawley with a fierce battle. She's not a big girl, but fierce.
Certainly. Crawley going in.
Gets around Sobel, looks to pass it across to the slot. It was on, absolutely. And Dutton not quite able to get enough on it to get it past Taylor. We've got a hand up for an icing. And that will be an icing on the Reds. So
The
all
Reds-
of those Reds ambling over to see if they get a sneaky change. They get a sneaky, hey, you get back on the ice. This is my vaudeville hook. And you are back on the rink, please.
Unlucky.
Have you ever seen a vaudeville hook? Look it up. It's an old stunt from someone who plays for too long. They just get yanked. You need a vaudeville hook in a lot of beer league games. Someone will just stay out there for like a 20-minute shift. You're like, get off the ice, seriously. The rest of us are getting cold.
And the Stingrays gain possession of the puck.
He tucks it in behind the back of the net. So the Reds couldn't get the change that they probably wanted.
Reds in possession, trying to tip it out of the zone here.
And they
And
do
they
get the
managed
puck
to do
clear.
it.
Now look for the change if they're going to go for it. No, they're not taking the change that we thought they needed. Puck comes across, found by Karen Jones. Not quite able to handle it.
Good contest there by Kazada.
But it went back to Winder, who flings it in deep. More good puck possession for the Central Coast.
With Johnson tipping it into the zone so that the Reds can get a good line change here.
Engineers the time. Nicely played there by Johnson.
Cashin tipping it back in. Winder tipping it out.
Winder trying to find Jones on the stretch. And second time around she gets a chance to. It's just not quite able to get on that puck quick enough. Being battled by Cashin, but Winder makes her way through as well. And Winder being pushed by Taylor Nelson. But wins the contest and puts the puck into the slot. But Sobel back there to tidy it up. Was that Sobel? No, Nicole Wright there for the Reds tidies it up. But guess who goes back to get it? That's right, Sam Winder, who has time to look up the ice and play the puck up. Probably looking for a change. Been out for quite a while. Wright misses that one.
Through the feet of Gillies. Sends that.
Stingrays offside, but then offside is actually waved there. You might have thought that was an offside, but because the Reds played it back into their defensive area, into their defensive zone, it actually wipes the offside. So what looked briefly as though Gillies was offside, actually she wasn't, because the Reds played it back into their own zone. And they steal the puck this time. Gillies has the shot, but Taylor Lester shuts it down, and they will get a change. So that's one of those rare instances where you're offside, but then you're not. It looked like she was, but because the Reds played it back into their own zone, it put all of the offside players onside again. Pretty handy, that. 3 minutes to go in the second. 1-2 the lead to the Reds. 10 shots to the Stingrays, only for 8 to the Reds. This period has been mostly green. Stingrays playing an excellent period. Down a little bit in the first, but a much better period for them in the second.
Posca aggressive on the puck, goes for a shot. Couldn't quite make it through the traffic there. Picked up by Gallagher and sent out by the Rays.
Find Leach.
By the Reds.
Leach has room.
Leach goes for the shot. And she scores.
Leach's first shot is stopped by Lunt, but the rebound is picked up, and we'll see this on the replay. Leach gets the first shot away, and they're not quite sure who got the second one, but there was 2 Reds there. It's a bit difficult to tell from this angle. I'm sure the referees had a pretty good sight line on it. We may get a top-down video on it as well, just to reveal it. But Leach got away, got behind the green defence, behind the coast, and that creates that opportunity. It's those breakaways that they're so dangerous. It's where most goals do get scored. Get behind the opposition's D because they get caught up too high, and that's when it's party time.
Face-off won by Crawley. The Rays send it in, and it's picked up by Johnson for the Reds, and she's cruising out. Sea of green following her there.
So that was Krulak who scored that one.
Crawley with the puck. Cruising down, tipped away by Johnson. Shot on the net by Dwyer there for the Stingrays. Johnson with the puck. Johnson hitting it up. She wants to get it out of the zone here for the Reds, and she successfully does that. Picked up by Newell. Newell travelling out into the offensive zone for the Reds. A little bit of a stumble there, but it's picked up by another Red there. Stingrays gain possession, send it into the neutral zone, and it's Johnson who's following it up the boards.
So that previous goal was scored by Justine Krulak, with Leach getting that first shot and creating that rebound opportunity. And looks like we're going to have a trip on
Newell. Stingrays getting sent to the bin.
Stingrays will be sitting for 2. Newell gets tripped, and that looks like it is Bartlett coming in to have a rest. The trip is one of those, as we know, it can be a cruel penalty because it doesn't necessarily, it wasn't intentional, but your stick causes the opposition to fall over. Referees have no discretion; it must be awarded as a penalty. So the Stingrays on their first penalty kill for the game. Can the Reds get organised? They've won the face-off.
Gallagher with a shot.
Gallagher throws it in high.
And the Rays clear it.
Cleared all the way down, and that's Sam Winder sitting at 200 feet, and that finishes the second period. So at the end of the second, the Central Coast are on the penalty kill. The Reds with the numerical advantage. They will start the third with 1 minute and 43 seconds of power play. The score 3 goals to the Reds and 1 to the Stingrays. It looked pretty good there for the Stingrays through most of that second period, with Winder scoring a beautiful goal. Made a good burst through and broke up got behind the Reds. But in the first period, it was Johnson and Dexness who scored for the Reds, and then Winder got one back to make it a 1-goal game midway through the second, and then Krulak with a beautiful pick up from a shot from a rebound from a Simone Leach bomb, and with Meg's help as well, brought it to 3 goals to 1. And we'll be starting the third with Sam Bartlett in the box. Sorry, Annie Bartlett in the box, which is just one of those things. It's a tripping penalty, and we know they happen. Shots on the net are very even. She's not happy with it, but you know, that's unfortunately that's the way it goes. She's not a dirty player by any stretch of the imagination, but just tripping. You know, sometimes it happens when you're involved, and it's happened to her a little bit too much through this program. She has given away quite a lot of penalties. So the Stingrays will be starting off with the focus required to kill a penalty. I'm sure they will have discussed it in their break. See what they bring out, and can they get the goal back? If they make sure that all they need to do to maintain finishing on top of the ladder is to not let the Reds get a 6-goal margin. But obviously they'd like to do a lot better than that, because this will be potentially the 2 teams that play in the grand final on Sunday night. And it's
pretty even game here for.
It is a very even game in terms of the flow. In fact, for a lot of the second period there, it looked like the Stingrays had the run of it and were on top of the Reds.
Just have to secure a few more goals there for the Rays.
It's a game of ebbs and flows, isn't it?
The game they're playing.
It is a game of ebbs and flows, hockey.
Sure is. And the Reds win the face-off. Gallagher with it.
Cashin looking for the pass up the wing, but Gallagher was pressed.
Gallagher.
Now they get the pass up to Bronwyn,
Cashin.
but Kulak very close there to offside, but judged beautifully, millimetre precision. But comes across high. Shot blocked.
Gallagher shot through
Gallagher
the
looking
traffic.
for the tip in. She was looking there for a redirect from Justine Krulak, but not able to get onto it, being pressured well by Sam Winder, and Lunt makes the save. So these face-offs run the clock down. Now, if you're Central Coast, you're in 2 minds about this. Do you want to run the clock down more? In the case of the penalty, yes, but they also want to get the goal back. It's the third period, and they'd like to get more on the board. They're not giving up on this one. They know they can win it as well. On this day, any one of these 2 teams is capable of winning this game.
Reds with possession. We've got Johnson on the puck. Looking for a pass. Gallagher
slings it in again.
Cashin following the puck. Goes to the back of the net, and it's followed up the boards by Johnson, who's looking for a way to get that off. And goes...
Nice little fake there from Johnson on the shot.
Tips it over to Nelson. Nelson to Gallagher.
Lunt,
Gallagher for the shot.
Lunt being screened there by Bron Cashin quite nicely, and being quite unhappy about it. Gave her a bit of a shove. But he's being well protected by Sam Winder back there for the Central Coast.
Nelson with a shot.
Another fling in through noise. And this is the penalty kill for Central Coast. And the penalty now over Bartlett back on the ice.
Johnson with a shot.
Johnson takes the shot, bobbling around in the slot. It's still
around
loose. Who wants it? Gallagher takes a shot again through traffic. So many legs in the way. There was no line there for the puck to get through. It was going to hit something, but it wasn't going to hit the net.
And we've got Boxker following it up around the back of the net, tipping it over, and Krulak picks it up for the Reds.
The right option there by
Over
Boxker.
the back of the net.
Cashin retrieves it for the Reds, slings it into the slot, but Pruska was there. No, sorry, that was Bartlett getting that one.
And both go for a line change. Johnson with the puck for the Reds, cruising it in. Gets a little bit tied up there by Bartlett.
And just to get through almost everyone, pass across the front of the net, no one there to take advantage of it. Leach just not quite in the right spot to pick up that cross-ice delivery, but now Leach hovering around in that dangerous position. No one on her.
Gallagher, a bit wide of...
except Bartlett's keeping an eye on her now, and that's what they need. The Central Coast will need Bartlett to keep an eye on Leach. Make sure that she doesn't barge her way through, because she's strong enough to do it.
Leach.
Just dispossessed there on that occasion. I'm looking to see if Bartlett gets in Leach's face just to shut her down and stop her from scoring. Frost takes a shot.
And the Reds managed to keep it in the zone.
They've had a lot of zone time so far in this shift since the end of that penalty. I don't think the Central Coast have got out, but they finally do, and they'll be looking for a change. Bartlett heads on over to get the change that she needs, and on comes Christina Elwood.
Leach with the puck for the Reds, taking it out of the Rays zone. Just sort of skating down. She's actually got a 4-on-1 here by the Rays.
And the Reds getting a change
Picked
as they do that.
Owen for the Rays has got the puck. Trying to cruise it around, and the Reds just are a little bit too eager on it, tapping it away. Reds taking the puck up the board, trying to clear the zone. And it's
here's
sent
an opportunity for them now, the race for the puck. And Zoe Quezada, who we know is quick, gets a good burst down, but getting back into position was Christine Elwood. She took the shortest route to the danger spot, flung
Shot by
in.
Gallagher.
That was Nelson flinging it in from a distance, but the Central Coast there to take care of it. Are we going to see a penalty for the trip? We are not. I think the lesson is stay on your feet.
Picked up by Winder in the neutral zone for the Rays. Sending it into the zone, and she's going to go for a shot here. And Lester puts the close on it.
Winder shot nicely, saved there by Taylor Lester. She'd be pretty relieved. We know that Winder has been very prolific. She's got 7 so far for the tournament, right up there with Simone Leach, with Leach's 5. So it's a bit of a battle of the defensive goal scorers there. We know Winder is very effective, and Taylor Lester would be relieved to make that save.
Reds,
Bartlett caught pinching.
Johnson bringing up the puck down the ice for the Reds.
See that
Caught up
footwork,
with
Winder doing it again. Didn't get the poke and check in the way, but got the skate in the way of the puck instead, and that'll do. Doesn't matter what you stop it with, as long as you stop it.
So ball keeping it in for the Reds, and just tapped out by the Rays. Parker. Johnson bringing it back in for the Reds. She's got 3 Rays on her at the moment.
You can see twice there, though, Bartlett being caught, trying to make a high challenge and being beaten. It's always the defensive players at a disadvantage when they try and come up high and stop a forward from making a rush, because the forward just has to move the puck around. And the puck's little and moves well. So you're going to get caught out most of the time there. Bartlett's been caught twice on that.
Good defensive setup here for the Reds.
8 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the third. The Reds with the 2-goal lead, 3 goals to them to 1 to the Central Coast Stingrays. Shots on the net, according to the score, are 13-12 in favour of the Stingrays, which does reflect the game. It's been pretty even. Both teams have had some breakaways. Both teams have had opportunities, and it's been a little bit of luck and a little bit of just the way it goes in hockey in terms of how close this one's been. It's going to be a battle of mistakes. Who makes the least? If the Stingrays can make sure they don't let the Reds get behind them again, there's still a chance to get back up into this game. It's by no means a foregone conclusion.
Krulak won that face-off for the Reds, but it was picked up quite quickly by the Rays.
There goes Winder again. I'm looking to see when they pop Vicky Prosek back on for that explosive jump. Neutral ice face-offs is usually where they bring her on, and we know just how effective she is. getting behind. And there will be an icing on the Central Coast Stingrays. That was Christina Elwood dumping the puck from behind the red line, and it went all the way down the other end, so they're brought back for an icing. But this does represent a nice counter-attacking option for them. Frost and Gallagher, the D for the Reds. But, can they get through? It's a bit of a collision of bodies there in the blind spot for us. And that was Leach and Gillies coming together, contesting the puck, so there's no foul there.
Krulak sending the puck up to Gallagher. Gallagher keeping it onside, hitting it back in, down to Krulak in the corner there. Krulak trying to hit it back into that high slots position, but she's contested pretty well there by the Rays, securing her to the board. Gallagher manages to steal the puck away,
Shot
goes
through
for a shot
traffic.
on net. Doesn't quite make it,
That's
and the
going to be
Rays send
cleared
it
out, but that's going to be icing. And the Stingrays making their way over to try and get a sneaky change, being very closely watched. Shana Godfrey, who would never have done that herself, ever. So that's the old story, to catch a thief, send a thief.
She's smiling there.
And she knows that we know that she knows that, that no one's getting away with that.
And the Rays take it off the face-off, but the Reds keep it in the zone. That's Gallagher keeping it in. Cashin picks it up, goes for a little shot, but it's off the skate of Alvin there.
Goes the wraparound this time, which low percentage option, but every now and then it works. Puck across the front. Cashin tries the backhand one-timer, but misses everything. And here comes Vicky Prosek. She's got a little bit of room. She's got a lot of speed. Gets around one, gets around two, gets around three, but doesn't get. She does. She gets around four, and she gets around the goaltender. And Vicky Prosek shows us just exactly what she can do. I just love watching that happen. That explosive speed. She doesn't do a lot with the puck. It's nothing dramatic. It's just little subtle movements, and it just gets through absolutely everyone. And Vicky Prosek showing us exactly what she's capable of there once again, and bringing it back to a 1-goal game. It's 2 goals to the Central Coast and 3 to the Melbourne Reds. 13 shots apiece. Don't give Vicky Prosek room to move, because that's what she'll do. So they've got 2 shock troopers like that. Her and Sam Winder are the two most potent players for the Central Coast.
Yeah, she was just a bullet parting that Red Sea there.
She certainly was. That was amazing. It was a beautiful thing to watch.
Rays gained possession and tried to tip it out, but it was kept in by Johnson for the Reds. A little bit of a tie up at the boards here. Can't quite get some movement on the puck, and just tips back into the neutral zone there.
So with 5 minutes, just under 5 minutes to go in the game, we have a 1-goal margin. So the interesting question will be what happens with regards to pulling goalies. How keen are they to win the Central Coast? Will they pull their goalie at some point? Will they score a goal before then? You never know. It can certainly happen. They've got the legs to do it. So it's a very, very even game.
Johnson keeps it onside for the Reds, but it's picked up quite quickly by Bartlett.
Bartlett almost clears the zone, but this time it is cleared out.
Johnson working to get it back in, and cleared out again by Bartlett.
Bartlett just barges on through. It's like, guess what? That's mine.
Not today. Marion picks it up for the Rays in their own zone.
She's being forechecked closely there by Quezada. Puts her under a bit of pressure. They don't clear the zone there, though, the Reds. They finally do, though, and it's stolen nicely. A bit of a pickpocket by Crawley. Bit of errant play through the neutral zone, but
Quezada steals it back.
Narelle Owen doing a good job of putting pressure on that on the back check. Neither team getting much in the way of opportunities to get a free, unpressured puck through the neutral zone. Both teams defending very well.
Quezada building up some momentum.
Gallagher's
here.
up on the point. Shot through noise and traffic, but it is saved nicely. Lunt saw it coming and swallowed that one quite nicely. So with, I think, about 3 minutes to play, we'll see in the second when this replay is finished. We'll get back to the clock. We can't see the scoreboard. There we go. 3 minutes and 17, not a bad guess. We have a 1-goal margin and 14 shots apiece. That shows you just exactly how close this game has been. It's been an absolute ding-dong battle.
Leach with a shot there. It just goes wide.
Leach fires it wide. Cleared by Dwyer. Sorry, Tello, that was Jones.
Parker making it into the neutral zone. And picked up, currently carried by Dutton, who's got a little bit of contest there by Meggs.
And this is where it's dangerous for the Reds. Got to clear that puck out of the zone. They've got numbers in the slot. Leach tries to make the pass across, but a desperate back check there. Sam Winder got back and shut the door.
And we've got Parker running it up for the Rays. Just loses the puck up at the boards in the corner.
The Reds saw that they had Elwood up high and tried to get past her, and they had a 3-on-1 there, but it was a desperate back check by Sam Winder in particular that shut it down. Beautiful play there by her in owning that. And in terms of game-changing players, she's certainly one of them.
Found Elwood in the neutral zone, sends it over to Parker. And picked up by some Reds in the middle.
The puck just slides underneath Dutton's stick there. Elwood racing back to try and get it, but she's beaten by Krulak. And we have 3-3 here, but a fair bit of traffic in front of the net. Leach with a little bit of space.
Krulak, Gallagher picks it up off the board.
Rimmed,
sends it around.
Rimmed deep by Nelson, trying to create an opportunity there for the Reds in the corner. Gets another chance, fires, but fans on it. Gets it across to Jess Meggs, but she fans on it as well. And now the Central Coast with a chance to break it out. All of the Red players are offside. They can't play it. That gives Green time to get organised. We are down to 1 minute and 10 seconds with just a small 1-goal lead. The Central Coast have chosen not to pull the goalie.
Leach with a dangerous shot there.
Lunt got a hand on it. Didn't make the save, but certainly it wasn't going to go in anyway, but she did push it a little bit wider. This time Lunt makes the save. No, Lunt does not make the save. It gets through everything. I think she thought she had it in her hand, but it went through between the legs. So we won't get stop time now because the goal differential is 2 goals, not 1. So the clock will continue to tick. So it's probably going to wind up the game. I think that's it with 51 seconds. It shouldn't be stop time because it's more than a 1-goal difference. But they have stopped the clock anyway. So that's okay. We only know one thing about the rules, what we're told at the start. And if they change, we just have to deal with it. It's all good. Prosek trying to get it back straight away, and you can see just from those face-offs, she always finds a way through. I don't know how she does it. This is like kind of magic. It's a kind of magic.
With the shot on the net, just finds the back of it there.
Bartlett clears it away from Cashin.
Prosek
puck out of the zone. Here's the last rush for the...
little bit of a stumble by Marion.
Marion just loses her footing. Bartlett decides the puck is hers. And if you get in my way, that's bad luck.
Deskin's on the puck.
You are allowed to contest that. Previous referees would have pinged it, but Bartlett, I think, was well within her rights to stand up and take that puck. Just on 12 seconds now to go. It's Prosek trying to find a way through, and she does. She's deep into the corner. She's not going to score from there. Puts the puck across the front of the net. They've got a chance now for one more shot with just a fraction of a second, but that finishes the game. And at the end of the series for the regular rounds before the finals, which are tomorrow, we have the Melbourne Reds 4 goals to the Central Coast Stingrays 2. It doesn't change the result on the table. It does change the number of points, but what that does mean is that the Reds will stay in second on the ladder and the Stingrays will stay in first. Our finals tomorrow morning will be, let me just triple check that, but it should be pretty much right. We should have game 1 will be at 9 a.m. and that will be between the Central Coast Stingrays and the Adelaide Hidden Gems, and that will be the winner of that goes through to the grand final game in the afternoon, and the loser will play for bronze. And the second semi-final will be at 10:10 a.m. and that will be between the Melbourne Reds and the West Australian iceHQ, which will be a cracker of a game as well. Very much looking forward to seeing those two. The consolation final will be in the afternoon at 2 o'clock or 2:30 p.m. I should say. It's an all-Melbourne affair between the Melbourne Furies and the Melbourne Flaming Galahs. A game there for pride for the two teams. The Furies would love to get another one up, and the Galahs would just love to win a game. It's been a bit of a flogfest for them. Unfortunately, they haven't had a lot of fun. The grand final, the bronze final will be at 3:40 p.m. and the grand final will be at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Eastern Standard Summer Time. So we'll wind it up for now. Thank you very much, Britt, for being with me this evening.
Thanks for having me,
You have
Val.
saved my voice enormously. Trying to do this on your own is an absolute nightmare. So I will have Zoe Stewart with me tomorrow, and we will be back. And so looking forward very much to bringing you the finals tomorrow morning and the grand finals of this CCM National Women's Series. Thank you very much for being with us all, and we'll see you tomorrow.